got questions.
How important is it to have a great production crew for your film?
I think it's extremely important. This is a family affair. Honestly, it wasn't just a job I don't think, for any of us. Everybody that's a part of this project, from the director, Destin Cretton, who's amazing, all the way down to the assistants and the PAs, everybody was all in on this movie. They knew how important it was. They knew how important Brian's story and his work was. So everybody came to work every day with their A game, willing to leave it all on the set because we know how important it was. So having a good production team is extremely important.
And how about introducing to other filmmakers, what can people do to get their films and their stories made? What is your advice?
Oh, I mean, it's hard enough to get anything made nowadays, but I think it's, having something that they're extremely passionate about, something they really care about, and they're willing to sacrifice and see it all the way through to the end, through ups and downs, obstacles. There's going to be, things that are going to get in your way, but, it separates the ones that are willing to see it through to the end versus the ones that are going to, quit a little bit too early. So I just think just perseverance. Cool.
All right. So, hi, I'm Jasiri with Seriously Speaking, and I interview people with who are pursuing their passions fearlessly. And I had the pleasure of interviewing Brie and the beautiful mother of the film here. And I just have a question for you. In fearlessly pursuing your purpose, where do you find the courage to push past when those hard times come up?
Well, I think I work and live in Montgomery, Alabama. I'm standing on the shoulders of people who did so much more with so much less. I live in a community where black people in the 1950s put on their Sunday best, and they went places where they knew they were going to get battered and bloodied and bruised, but they went anyway. And I just feel like we have to sometimes draw on that courage. My great-grandfather was enslaved, but he learned to read because he believed something better was coming. My grandmother fled lynching and terrorism in the South because she believed something was better coming. My parents endured the humiliation and degradation of segregation because they believed in something better. And I just believe there's something better waiting for us in this country, something that feels more like freedom and equality. And when you have that belief, you don't get turned around by the inevitable challenges that come. And that's what's been so exciting about this project. To imagine that I'd be in a place like this with talented people like this to tell these stories is so incredible. And it just inspires and affirms all the things that I do and the many people in this country doing the same thing I do. Yeah, you're welcome.
Last question over here.
Hi, Mrs. Stevenson. I wanted to ask you, since we are in a very important election coming up, what are your advice on harnessing the black vote?
Yeah, well, I just think everybody has to vote. I was disappointed that I heard people in 2016 saying, I'm not going to vote because I don't like either one of them. That is not a position that people of color in this country can take. If you don't want to vote for yourself, vote for the people who are going to lose their health care. Vote for the people who are locked up in jails and prisons. Vote for undocumented people who are going to be deported. Vote for the poor. Vote for the excluded. They need you to show up. I've got clients who would desperately love to vote, but they cannot. That's why we have to vote. Black people have always made the choice during elections between bad and worse. We chose bad because that's better than worse. It's never acceptable that people aren't perfect. We have to vote. That is our voice. So I hope that come November, we're going to see a turnout. And I hope also here in LA County on March 3rd, people will come out and vote for the reform docket. There's a real important election in this community, and we need reform in Los Angeles. And I hope people show up and vote for Measure R during the March election.